Hello there, this is Work It on CNA 938. We've probably heard someone say, I hate math. Wait, that's me. When
Me.
we were, you, that
Yeah.
makes two of
Yeah.
us. That's 100% in the studio. And that's why we're on the radio. We're not doing accountancy or something. Now, for many, mathematics, perhaps like Justine and I, evokes memories of tedious calculations and complex formulas you just can't wrap your head around. Well, recently, children have reportedly burst into tears over the puzzling PSLE mathematics questions. Now, is this the future of Singapore's education? Has school-induced anxiety become the norm as children embark on a relentless preparation to race to the top?
Well, one company here plans to make maths less painful, as it probably should be. Smartli, Singapore's first mathematics role-playing game, RPG, is making this possible through the gamification of maths education to increase learning and engagement among children as young as 4 years old. So can learning maths actually be all fun and games? Wish we had that, Stan.
I wish we had too.
Yeah, we'll get the answers to this now with Charis Chio, founder of Smartli, Singapore's first mathematics role-playing game, who joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. Tell us, first of all, did you find maths a difficult subject when growing up?
Yes, definitely. When I was growing up, I was part of the school system in the 70s. So Singapore math only came about in the 80s. And it was a methodology that was created by the MOE system, which I'm still very proud of. I'm very holding the Singapore flag out and saying, look, we created this system that teaches us on concept, not rote learning, not memorization. So during the pandemic, when we first started, one of the issues that came out was test anxiety, mental health declining among students. And it was a trigger point for me to start Smartli. So that's where we are today. We have this gamified role-play game for learning Singapore math for kids in the early childhood educational system.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I wasn't born, so early.
Same.
I was ahead of my time. And I wish Charis Smartly came up earlier than it did. But I'm glad it's still, up and running. At least we can save some of the anxiety that our kids will have to go through. But are you fond of games as well? And was that how, that triggered the idea of like, hey, we can do something with games and mathematics and put them together?
I'm fond of coding,
Ah.
actually. When I was in university, I was taking an economics degree, but when I was in university, I decided to take some computer coding course. And then I realized that, the teachers and the lecturers and the professors were not able to teach as fast. So I had to self-taught a lot of things along the way in my life. I'm a lifelong learner. So when I look back during my early educational years, right, one of the things that was right for me was that I learned how to teach myself how to learn in the process. As a child growing up, I learned to teach myself. So when I thought of Singapore math right now, right, when I had to explore it for my niece and nephew when they were going through the school system here, I realized that, oh, wow, we've got a gem here. They are teaching kids how to learn. They're not teaching kids how to memorize. They're teaching kids how to learn. Are we doing it correctly? But why is there so much anxiety amongst the kids? Because President Tharman used to say a long time back, we are exam meritocracy. That's not right. We need to be a talent meritocracy, right? We need to teach kids how to learn.
And in our intro, Charis, we're saying, that the kids as young as 4 years old, so they're really grasping this very, very early on.
Yes. So the best age for kids to learn is from 2 years onwards to 5. This is the golden period for kids to learn. So a lot of child psychologists, educational psychologists have come up with these magical numbers of 2 years old to 5. That's even before primary 1, right? So we're trying to capture that age group whereby kids' minds, they are malleable at that time. So let's teach them how to have fun and learn at the same time. Learning in a fun way helps you retain concepts better. So that's where Smartli plays a role in.
Okay, all right. So just hearing you out, and as a parent of a young child myself, you're making me a little bit kanjiong about how my child needs to get into enjoying mathematics a fun way, even before enrolling in primary 1. Do you think this is a must, or do you think actually it can be postponed till they enter, primary 1 and onwards?
Learning is continuous. even now when you're looking at the hawker center, looking at parents eating, right? They put a device in front of their kids.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that don't put the device, don't put mindless things for the kids to watch. Let's do this. Give them the ability. Right now, kids are born with the finger to do things on iPad, iPhone. I remember teaching an older lady how to use the mouse, and she had so much difficulty maneuvering it. The next generation, they are so dexterous that their fingers can move faster than ours. They're born with the iPad finger right now.
Absolutely. So I guess it's a bit like muscle memory, though. At that age, they really, the more that they're doing something like this, that they will remember it, and it's fun. And for you, coding is cool, right? But are there any sort of specific topics, maths topics or skills that you focus on, or does it sort of just cover the wide range?
We follow the Singapore math curriculum. So we're very aligned with Singapore math curriculum in Singapore. So what they are learning is actually spiral learning. They are learning the concepts. For example, an example of spiral learning is when you're doing math, right? You're not doing math for the math's sake. We teach you how to do math, but eventually we want you to use mathematics to do something else. Math in itself is not the goal. Math is actually for you to build on other skills like finance, physics, science, chemistry, be an astronaut. But math is the foundation, right? So math in itself is not a goal in itself. We're teaching you the concepts of how to use math. And Singapore Math, we're using the curriculum from Singapore Math, very much aligned with the MOE curriculum to teach kids how to think and how to conceptualize thinking.
Yeah. I mean, now that I'm hearing you out, now it may make sense why I just am totally hopeless in accountancy, totally hopeless in statistics, because the fundamentals of mathematics just wasn't there for me. It was just about doing well in math, but I just didn't see how it fit into real life. And perhaps that was why I was just so discouraged.
Yes, you can be anything. With the foundation of math, you can be a scientist, you can be an astronaut, you can be anything. You can be Elon Musk, right? But our goal is to teach concepts, to make kids be lifelong learners.
Okay. And just talking about the game, sorry to interrupt you there, Charis, just for a minute. When the kids are doing this gamification, how long does each game take?
It depends on the child. We're trying to encourage the parents to co-learn with the child, but we realized that when we first launched Singapore Math, we just soft launched in August, even without publicity. Mothers in Singapore started coming to download and spread the word about Smartli. So that was very surprising for us. And then the other surprising factor was that the parents themselves are using positive word of mouth to tell other parents, because they say, look, my kids are having fun learning, and I can leave my kids to play Smartli on their own, and I feel safe with it. And the kids, depending on their age group, will take different time to finish certain world. Smartli is actually a world that we create. It's a planet Smartli, where kids go around in this world, and they have their own avatar. They can become whoever they want to be, and they're going to fight this nemesis in the world. In the process, they learn general knowledge and values. So it's not just math in isolation. They also learn vocabulary, general knowledge, and value systems. We want to build resilient kids. So failure is an option, but learning from the failure is what we want you to learn, not the part that you failed. We need to build resilience.
Yep. And Smartli looks like, as you have said, Charis, is more than just math. It's math and more. You should call it M&M that you're dishing out to children. I'm sure they'll all be flocking to you. Let's also talk about some of these games. I mean, what sort of form do these games come in? I mean, give us some examples so we can get a grasp of how some of these are played.
Okay, you go into the first stop along the way is a planetarium. So you go into planetarium, they'll ask you, okay, there's a telescope, go around looking for clues, because, okay, I'm going to use technical, quote-unquote technical terms from the game.
Okay.
So in the Smartli world itself, we create coins system, we create gematrons. The kids are supposed to go around the world collecting this mathematics. The mathematics is like the egg of knowledge that has been broken up.
Okay.
Are you still with me?
Yes. The egg of
The
knowledge that
golly
has been
plot.
broken up.
Yes, the golly plot stole this mathematics, broke it up, dispersed it in this world. The kids are supposed to go into this world and save planet Smartli by collecting the mathematics. So
So
this is
cute.
worldwide. Okay? So you have to put on the thinking cap of a child at this point. This is the exciting hero narrative. You're going to save planet Smartli. So you're going to go around this world, fight those monsters, and save Singapore, save Smartli, right?
Wow. Okay. Those words just went straight over my head.
It's scrambled eggs,
Gareth.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. But some parents might just be a bit wary, though, that it's just a game, or that the school curriculum rather seems more difficult, or it's not supposed to be that fun for my kids. How do you ensure then that the technology, the games are not a limitation for children's academic and educational development?
We have this inbuilt scaffolding system in the game. So it gets harder and harder. The questions get more and more difficult as the child progresses. So it's actually learning. When you think of games, right, you're thinking of computer games. But here we're using the concept of gamification to get the kid to want to learn the next level, the next level, the next level. It gets harder. It gets harder and harder to collect Gemitrons, harder and harder to find the mathematics, but they have to persevere. And then they have to fight more and more difficult monsters, which gives them more and more difficult mathematical questions along the way. So we're saying trust the process. It was done very methodically to create learning for kids. We are not a 10-year series.
Right.
So if you want a 10-year series, there are other options for that. We're not. We are more concerned about the mental health of the child. We are more concerned about the lifelong learning habits of the child. But they will still learn something along the way, and they will learn it in alignment with the Singapore curriculum, and they will pass. If you're thinking of exams, yes, of course, they'll pass the exams at the end of the day. Don't worry about that, right? Having fun doesn't mean you're not learning.
Yeah.
Learning and fun should be together. Eventually, there'll be a way that we can say fun and learning in one sentence, and no one will question it.
I totally agree. I mean, who says when there's fun, there's no learning involved? Over the weekend, Charis, I was actually attending a talk about online addictions and what parents should be aware of. And the speaker shared with us, 3 profiles of people, especially children, who may be gamers, for instance. They are the achievers who just want to be the top ranked gamer in whatever game they're playing. Then they're the befrienders, they're more community social, and then they are the free spirited, those who just like to change skin, and be different people and have different weapons all the time. In terms of addiction, how attractive is this that will pull in students to want to play the games in Smartli, because they're actually going to be, getting smarter in math as well and other subjects?
So, okay, let me take a step back. When I was growing up, black and white TV was the rage.
Me too.
I started to date. I'm starting to date myself. Sorry about that.
Date me with you.
Oh, I'm so glad that. So anyways, during that time when black and white TV came out, everyone was saying, don't watch too much TV, you'll go blind. When the mobile phone came out, your brain will be fried because the antenna is going to make you stupid. And every step of the way, laptop came out, oh no, you're going to lose your job. Everything is going to be negative, negative, negative. That's very normal. That's very normal for humans, right? So I'm still alive. I didn't go blind. And my job is still stable. I'm creating jobs for a lot of Singaporeans right now with this game, and we all have the same passion. So ours is a very wholesome approach to how kids should be using technology. So that's where we are coming in from. Whether we like it or not, kids will or will not end up using technology unless we put them in the forest and say no electricity, no light, nothing, right? You're saying kids using technology younger, let's gear them towards technology that is helpful for them. I grew up on Sesame Street thanks to TV. We should have coffee sometime.
We should, an electric company as well.
Yes, and I learned so much from there, right?
Yeah.
TV it's not all bad because I learned how to speak, I learned how to interact with kids through TV at a time when everything was changing, right? We are latchkey kids. Our parents literally give us a key and say, "Oh, come on time. I'll see you later."
Yeah.
And that's all.
But Charis, I just remember when I was growing up and going to school, and I would have heart palpitations when the maths exams were coming out. I really did. And it was, it was competitive even back then, but I imagine it's competitive, of course, more these days. And in a competitive education environment like here in Singapore, how do you think you address that sort of pressure or anxiety of kids that young in their pursuit of academic excellence?
Thank goodness we have a MOE that's actually addressing that now. And we have great 4G leaders who are coming up with Forward Singapore. They are identifying that there's other pathways to success. And like you say, when I say Sesame Street, I remember every Sunday the last song that I heard on TV was the Muffet song. That, to this day, gives me anxiety because the next day I've got to start school. So that was the last show I saw on TV, and to this day, every time I hear the Muppets closing song, I get anxious. So let's change the dialogue a bit. MOE is trying to change the dialogue. Forward Singapore is trying to change the dialogue. And we're moving in the right direction. I have great confidence in the leadership in Singapore that we are aligned. We're moving at the same step that our Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong is heading towards. Prime Minister Lee did a great job. And now we are looking forward to the next generation. We're getting more in touch with the younger people coming out right now. The stress, the anxieties of parents and of kids.
Yeah, we got to manage it when they're young. And talking about young and old, I mean, this program seems to be more targeted at the younger children. Are there plans to expand this concept to include the older students who may have missed the boat because they are just not within that 4 to 12-year-old age group now?
We're looking at that. We're looking at expanding into languages as well, English and Chinese.
Right.
And we're starting off with mathematics, and we're going up the grades, right? As we go up the grades, the technology that we use will be slightly different because to engage older children, we have to use different tools. So we're working on other products that's higher up than ECE. So we have primary 1, we have primary 2, we have kindergarten. We're coming up with primary 3, we're coming out with English and Chinese.
Wow. Okay,
Gosh,
that's a lot that will be on stream soon. And Charis Chio has been updating us on all that's happening at Smartli, spelled Smart, SMARTLI. All right, so remember it's an I, not a Y. Founder of Smartli, she is Singapore's first mathematics role-playing game. If you want more information about them, head on to their website, www.smartli.sg. Again, it's SMARTLI. Charis, thank you so much. Looking forward to, perhaps one day meeting you and talking about Sesame Street and all, and of course what Smartly is up to next. Thank you for joining us on CNA 938.
Thank you for having me.